Good morning. Welcome to Sunrise. I'm Yomi Otaiwe.
And I am Nel Taigbe. You know how it is, they say ladies first, but in Nigeria, some will say ladies first after men. Okay, welcome back. We are going straight up into the issues of the day. We begin with the state of the nation. Certain people from different places have made certain statements that are not palatable to the polity and indeed the leadership. Congress of Progressive Change presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari, retired, had said the 2015 general elections will be a fierce, bloody battle. He says, we have decided together with the party leader that by the 20th, God willing, it's either the government does justice in the conduct of elections as always claimed by them, and it will be a fierce, bloody battle. And that's a statement. But somewhere else, unexploded bombs or miniature explosives are found discovered in a primary school or in primary schools. How safe is that? Where are we going? Killings here and there, abductions here and there. These are some of the things that have been going on. Doctors in Lagos are on strike, and now the the doctors in the federal hospitals establishments in Lagos State have also joined. Is it going to spread beyond Lagos? What is the state of things? What is going on? These are some of the things we'll look at here this morning. We have four able gentlemen, all of them able in their various capacities. Here this morning is Honorable Solomon Edoja, former member of the House of Representatives. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, thank you. Yes.
Beside him is Olashokbo Ojo, legal practitioner. Will help us see the legal side of things. Also here is Ibrahim Okare, social commentator. And Dr. Ibrahim Olaifa. I left him for last because he should be the one sitting in the eye of the storm. Member of Federal House of Representatives, former first vice chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association, here, and also former chairman Medical Guild. Welcome, gentlemen. Let me begin with you. You're a member of the Federal House of Assembly, so let's start from there. How would you describe the nation now?
I think we are facing a lot of challenges that were actually created by the top players in the politics of Nigeria. And it is totally unnecessary. For the fact that some people consider their own interest more important than the interest of the generality of Nigerians, they are ready to bring the country down. And this should not be allowed. The federal government, being headed by Dr. Jonathan, was collectively put in place by all Nigerians. We had a general election. He was pronounced elected as the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Some people went to court. He was again pronounced elected by the court. What we should do is to forget about the politics of it and face governance. Allow him to run his 4 years term. Whatever happened after then, so be it. We should not give him any excuse at the end of the day for his failure.
So are you saying it has to do, the state of the nation now has to do more with, issues of, people trying to, get to power in 2015?
This is about inordinate ambitions. If you are not there today, you could be there tomorrow. Just conduct yourself in such a way that will be marketable. By the time you are saying that if you are not there, there will be bloodshed. Whose blood? Your blood? Your children's blood? This kind of thing should not be allowed. It should not be encouraged. It should be condemned by all right-thinking people. And I'm very sorry, I never expected this kind of attitude from the person of General Buhari.
Mr. Doja, how would you react to that? You said created by the top players.
I think the problem of Nigeria is leadership, and the current president, President Jonathan, is not responsible for it. We have had a lacuna of leadership. We have never had it well, and it stems from the fact that there have been a lot of constitutional breaches. We write a constitution, we don't even attempt to operate it midway, and people disobey this constitution with impunity, and it is this level of impunity that is carried to this level where we are in today. How do you account for the fact that about 25 25 states of the federation as we speak are run by illegal government in the name of caretaker committees, and sometimes head of personnel management in the worst scenarios. So it is this impunity that have carried on for too long that is giving birth to the effects, the negative effects of society today. If I give you an example, if you read the story of Singapore from third world to first world, one man, Lee Kuan Yew, when he took over in 1959, the administration of Singapore, he ran it for 31 years, stepped down in 1990. He was able to find out that the only way to revive Singapore, because Singapore is a small country, was not to copy, but to be original. And he devoted all his time. He ran the affairs of Singapore from one-bedroom flat for 30 years. And he realized that the only way out is to run Singapore as a business enterprise. People forget so soon that the difference between the private sector and the public sector is one letter word: punishment. All of that things are the same people, the same individual. So he ran Singapore as a business enterprise. Today, Singapore is in the envy of everyone. Nigeria can do the same. Our leaders should run the affairs of this country as if they are running a productive venture, not as people who are running a venture that is going to crumble. We run this country as if we are not Nigerians. And so the moment we start running Nigeria as a country and obeying a constitution that we crafted for ourselves, because every public officer swore to an oath to operate the constitution. And remember, section 1 in the general principle, chapter 1 of this constitution says that all part of this country shall be governed in accordance with the provision of this constitution, and this constitution is supreme.
Okay,
but when you go to those who are running this illegal government in the name of caretaker, chapter 7:1 of the constitution said, these officials, that every of these local government shall be run by elected, democratically elected councils, and that is not happening. And somebody conscience is not pricked. He goes to Abuja, he wants true federalism at Abuja, whereas in the state he runs it as a sole administrator. He's not even bothered that statutory allocations are being provided, because, and even went further in that chapter, that they shall ensure the existence of these local government councils. And that is why the federal legislator has to provide funds, the state legislator has to provide funds in accordance to section 162(5)-8 of the constitution. So you see that the moment we agree to run this country in accordance with this constitution as amended, then we are home and dry.
Okay, Mr. Ojo, he said, no, Mr. Edoja said that the constitution, there's constitutional breaches and, disobedience to the constitution. You're a lawyer. Tell us about, those things, that some of the things he mentioned, like, the states being run like it's a private thing and all of that. Tell us what really is the areas that the constitutions have been breached.
You see, the constitution is a document. is supposed to reflect the wishes and the desires of those who made it. You understand? Because it is expected that those who made it are those who will be governed by the Constitution. The present Constitution is Decree number 24 of 1999.
Yes.
A decree is promulgated by the military.
Okay, so does that,
you understand?
does that give room for breaching?
No, yes. Because it lacks legitimacy.
No, but I disagree.
Well, that's you.
Okay.
I'm a lawyer, constitutional lawyer. I'm 19 years at the bar. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen countries go down because of, excuse me.
Okay.
Now, this is a militarily imposed document. And we expected that by now, Nigerians, the ordinary man on the street, will have been given the opportunity to contribute to the making of a constitution that will govern its life. So this constitution is a document made by those who wanted to govern with it, and they have been doing it. So I have no expectation from that constitution. I expected that by now it will have been replaced by the people's constitution, so that they can lay claim, lay ownership, and say we are the one that made it. In their own referendum, you bring a military constitution, you expect it to operate as if it is the people's constitution. They are two different. A decree is not a constitution. A constitution cannot be a decree. So now that's what you have now. That has been the argument since 1999. That's what we have now. Let's make do with it. 1999, 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, and so on. Forever, they will say it is what we have now. So when are you going to have what the people will make for themselves? When? That's one. Now, he spoke about Nigeria being, ought to be run as a productive venture. Yes, let me take it from that. Let's presume that Nigeria is a project. And people used to say that Nigerian project, that's a brand. Okay, as a project, if you are the owner of this project, you now want to assess its performance. Will you say that's your project, this project that you are saying, will you say it is performing? Will you say the venture should continue? Will you say you want to continue to pump your money into this venture? You as the owner of that project, key indicators are there. Apply them. Is it electricity? Is it security? Is it health? Is it road networks? Name it. Education? Or the welfare of the people. Section 40 of the Constitution says their constitution.
Yes.
Their constitution says the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Yes. And Section 13 says it shall be the responsibility of every part of government, executive, judicial, legislature, to uphold and enforce.
To uphold and enforce.
And the provision of
of
Chapter 2 of the Constitution.
Wait, that Decree 23, as you said,
that their Decree 24 of 1999
did not give room for any breaching.
No. Now that is where the issue comes. So what accounts for lawlessness? Because that's what we are talking about.
Breaches.
Lawlessness.
Breaches.
People are not prepared to comply with that document. When I see them hold it, I swear by Almighty God, I will uphold it and just laugh. Because very soon they are going to start the breach right there on that day. And that's what has been going on. Look, from the presidency down, the law says no, the government shall not spend any money unless it is appropriated. You are from the National Assembly.
We're having a lot of problem with that.
Yes. From the presidency has been breaching that law till tomorrow. Look, let me give you one. Every time you buy a vehicle, you apply for CMR, Rabi, and the police. Let me just say that one. The Constitution says every income for the federal government shall go into the federation account. I don't know. Ask the police, how much have they made on CMR alone? Every vehicle has CMR in this country. It will run to trillions of naira. Where is that money? Is it going to the federation account? I'm just mentioning that one only, just that one, just from a corner, from the police corner. So let's forget about what is going on in different other ministries, agencies, parastatals in this country. Corruption is riding roughshod over everywhere, and constitutionalism will be buried by corruption. Constitution cannot withstand corruption, let me tell you. And I'll be telling people,
Constitution
cannot withstand corruption. Yes, I tell you, corruption will sink the constitution. It will also sink the country. It has happened. So it is not a question of rhetorics. I tell you, those who are in government who got there through corrupt means, you don't expect them to come and fight corruption. Look at what is happening now. The legislature, yes, they are performing their oversight functions. No, they have come up with reports of corruption. From which arm of government is the corruption coming? From the executive arm of government. Those who are supposed to ensure that there is no corruption, they are the ones supervising it. Now, the law is that the legislature cannot prosecute anybody for corruption. They have to still transfer their report to the same executive arm of government for prosecution, for investigation, and so on. Now, are you expecting the executive to expose his yansh? We have already seen the corruption there. You expect them to prosecute themselves? You expect them to jail themselves? And who is the head of the executive arm?
So what are we
the president.
To do about this?
What I'm telling you is, where the head is rotting, whatever is under it, you are just, unless you begin to do packaging, rebranding, you decorate it, whatever. If the head of the government said no to corruption today, everybody will sit up.
Okay, Mr. Ojo,
I want to react to something.
No, I wanted to hear from Mr. Okaro.
Okay.
Mr. Okaro, this is a picture of gloom. According to Mr. Ojo, we do not have a constitution. That is where all of this. That's why we are at the point where we are.
Disagree.
I was going to ask the Dr. Laifa to comment where is the National Assembly in all of this. But let's begin with you. The situation we're in now, the way forward.
According to him, he said it's a military-imposed constitution.
Do you agree with that?
To some extent, but I think what he also concluded was that corruption will bury constitution. Even if what we are having is not what was designed by us, if there are obedience and implementation of that constitution, we will not be suffering what we are suffering today. The most painful thing is that even those in leadership, they don't even know the implication of the situation at hand now, because they are so busy stealing money, and they feel the only way they can survive there is to cause the distraction in the system. We are talking about bombing, we are talking about kidnapping, we are talking about armed robbery, we are talking of insecurity. We are talking of a country where the National Security Advisor has to make a statement that the bombing and the insecurity in the system is caused by the politics, by the government, by the people that were elected. Even the National Assembly, a legislator confirmed that those that campaigned for us, those that were in our campaign trail, we have now abandoned them and they don't have anything to do. And they are the people we are calling today kidnappers, bombers, and terrorists. So if you find yourself in such a system, you now know that it's not actually the issue of constitution. I think it is the issue of people not believing in a country that is so endowed by natural resources. People who steal just for wickedness. People steal money which they don't even have use for. We are talking of a former DG facing the panel, saying that the stock exchange does not have, the commission does not have money, but if they have money, she will not mind pinching a little in a national television. In the assembly, people laughed at it. The country has so degenerated to a point that people are reacting. The bombing you are seeing is a reaction. We came here just because we are reacting. Everybody have various way of reacting. It is for every action there's equal and opposite reaction. If somebody that have food in his table, somebody that have a future will be in government and will decide to steal, what do they expect a man in the street who doesn't have anything in his table to eat, who is not even sure of his future? Don't you expect such a person to commit suicide by bombing? Don't you expect such a person to commit suicide by committing robbery or kidnapping? Are you telling me now that the way we are going, if we continue like this, is it the issue of religion? Is it the issue of ethnicity, not and south? They are just using that to cause distraction. Buhari made a statement. Everybody is saying Buhari said this. You don't even need Buhari to say it. Even if the vice president was indicted, a person of the National Assembly said that the vice president is aware of his involvement in the Boko Haram issue, and no comment was made about that. Somebody is reacting to Buhari who won. If you know you are not a thief, if there is a probability thieves will be killed, I don't see why you should be afraid if they don't have a plan.
No, I don't think it's about being afraid. It's about, you know, not hitting up the polity with such statements. It's
You don't need to hit it. You don't need to hide it. You see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that people, if you say the truth,
You are eating out the politics.
Yes, if you say the truth in the advanced country, if you lie, if they see you as mad. But in Nigeria, if you say the truth, they see you as a mad person. Buhari in his position has the capacity to make any statement concerning the future of a country.
Well, really on the issue of Buhari, I think he's entitled to his own opinion. Yes, and we have unnecessarily publicized that opinion, in my own view, because he said he didn't want you and I to know of what he's saying, and so he reduced it to Hausa language, and so he's particularly talking to the Hausa audience and not to you and I who are non-Hausa, and therefore I cannot quote him because he never used English language.
But you're saying he's talking to Hausa audience, but it's enough that we're having, you know, a huge part of the insecurity.
Let me finish. You see, let us not criminalize the entire North. In the North, you have government that are running well. In the North, you have states that have no Boko Haram. In the North, you have states. Now, I give you an example. Jigawa State. Have you heard of Boko Haram in Jigawa? Have you seen any street beggar on the street of Jigawa? Have you been to Duse? My colleague from the National Assembly is here. With the little meager resources they have, you cannot see street beggar, you cannot see bombing, you cannot hear of Boko Haram. Have other governors gone there to go and learn, to take tutorial from Governor Lamido how he's doing it? So when we criminalize the whole of an area, it's not fair. If Buhari is speaking to the Hausa people that have come to visit him, there was no need to publicize it in English. We would have left him at that. The PDP or other parties that for instance, the PDP I belong, I'm not aware of any plan to rig 2050 election, and therefore I need not to be bothered. And I don't see any reason why anybody should be bothered that in 2015 there's going to be massive rigging. It's only when you are sure that this is going to happen and these are the consequences that you need to be bothered. But I want to talk about this constitution, which my friend talked about. You see, in Britain today, you don't have a written constitution.
That's Britain.
And they operate very well.
But you see, so the same person that told us, let's be original, let's not copy.
Yes.
You're not comparing us to Britain.
No, I'm only telling him now that we should be original. I said so. Which is what the Prime Minister of Singapore preached, which was the practice. If he had copied Western democracy by staying 4 years and leave office, Singapore would not be where they are. He ruled the country for 31 years. Nobody bothered because he was selfless. They see in him as an exemplary leader. That is what we should be working on. This constitution is more than enough. The people who wrote it, they are not from the moon. Whether they are in khaki, some of them are today the president of the Senate. Some of them are in different positions. So you cannot no longer say that these things were written by people who are non-Nigerians. This constitution was crafted by Nigeria. And all the sections that will make life good for all of us are there. For instance, section 14(2)(b) quoted, that security and welfare is the primary purpose of government at all levels, at the local government level, at the state level, at the national level. If all government in this country knows that security and welfare of the people are the primary purpose and not their self, we will not be where we are now. And so what we need to do is to build the institutions that we have, to build the National Assembly. Some of these institutions, I'll give you an example. Most state governors today, when they've ended their second term, they want to go to the National Assembly, because the National Assembly seems to have a semi-autonomy now, where people can speak, ventilate their views, aggregate their views. But back home, the local government that they midwife, they have so pauperized them that none of them want to finish as governor. and return and become a local government chairman. Have you seen anyone? Today, people are clamoring that the federal INEC should conduct local government election, because we have seen that the only thing that they have considered to them in the constitution, by way of allowing the governors to conduct local government election, they have so abused it that if you have a PDP state, the PDP will win there. If you have an AC state, why would somebody from another party not win in those states? So something wrong, and that is affecting. The implication is that today nobody is thinking of, as desirable as it is, nobody want to approve state police. Because if you approve state police, as we are living here now, you will be arrested.
Dr. Laifa, the National Assembly has a major role to play in the movement or in the efficacy of the Constitution. We've been talking about amending the Constitution. Indeed, the 1999 Constitution was recently amended. But with all of these things being pointed out, a particular portion of the Constitution that they quoted, the welfare of the citizenry shall be the job of the government at all levels. Where is the National Assembly in ensuring that this is taken care of? Because there are those who believe that all that the National Assembly members care about is increasing their own allowances, taking care of themselves, making sure that they are okay. If anything bothers on them, they jump at it. But when it concerns the citizenry, they're not bothered.
That is not true. If we are not bothered, why would the National Assembly, particularly House of Representatives, decide to meet on a Sunday when they were actually in recess because of the subsidy issue? That's an evidence that actually the people at National Assembly care about what other Nigerians are going through. Some people that could not make it by flight, they tried to travel by road, and these people were harassed on the road. Remember, a senator from Lagos was with Lady Nibano just because she wanted to be there to discuss this issue at the National Assembly. Now, talking about the Constitution is just a document. Remember, we started from the colonial period. We were not even the one that wrote it. They wrote the Constitution for us. And we still operated it. The military came in. They had this constitutional conference. They prepared Constitution, 1979. You realize that this 1999 Constitution that we are operating now is actually a derivative of 1979 Constitution.
Yes.
It's a continuum. And the only thing that National Assembly can do is to amend. We cannot create or fashion out a new constitution. We are not allowed.
Well, hold on. You're not allowed.
Yeah.
But you're representatives of the people.
Yes.
Can't the National Assembly, representing the people of Nigeria, unanimously agree that let the people meet and decide on the constitution they want?
We cannot do that.
Why?
Because it's not part of our constitutional duties. We do not have right to do that. What we can do, since we are representing the people, according to the law, is to meet and amend the provision of the document that has been handed over to us. Remember, we swore to protect that constitution and to abide by its provision. If we do another thing, we are going against that constitution.
Okay, so since
it is not the document that matters. It is the attitude of people that operate it and people that enforce its provisions.
Okay.
And that is where the difference is.
Since you cannot amend the Constitution,
we can amend
on your own. On your own.
We can amend.
Okay,
we cannot say that
you cannot rewrite.
Replacing or rewrite it.
Rewrite it. You can't replace it or rewrite it.
Yes.
But can a national conference, as you know, is being clamored for, can it move the country forward?
The law does not provide for that.
No. Under what subhead?
The law is blind on that.
You see, no, it's not that the law is blind.
Because the way he talked about Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore.
Yes.
I mean, Singapore had to do something that was not in their law.
Yes.
Because they needed to move forward.
That's why we just want to intervene now. So, I'm happy with the approach he gave to it. Look, they are products, they are products of the 1999 Constitution, Decree 24.
Yes.
So they are already in shackle of that decree. They cannot see beyond that decree.
Okay, please hold your thought. We have a caller. Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, Abdul.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Abdul, please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set, please?
Yeah, it's turned down. I have.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Please, I would like to say three things, please. Firstly, the issue of corruption. The corruption in this country, honestly, is 100%. Everywhere, the National Assembly, the executive, they are not enforcing any law, and all these probe reports on subsidy or whatever. At the end, the National Assembly members even collected bribe. I think there was, in the daily, somebody stated that even the pension probe issue, in short, it's too much. Secondly, the issue of Buhari is not saying that there is going to be crisis. He is trying to say that the current security situation, there is nothing the government is doing at this moment that there is no election. So what if election comes? It's going to be double. So people should try to understand Buhari. Buhari is not trying to say there's going to be crisis in this country. He's just trying to give a government a step up. And the government is feeling bad and ashamed that Buhari is trying to bring out their asses out.
All right, thank you, Abdul.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. So we just have to pray that God will intervene and then we have good leaders.
They are products of the 19th Constitution.
First of all, react to what Abdul said.
It's a 100.
Yes, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Corruption is not only about money, mind you. Definition of corruption includes misuse or abuse of power. It's also corruption. At any level, anywhere you see it, it's also corruption. So, Decree 24 of 1999 is a document that is imposed to shackle the country and make it remain where it is.
So how do we come out of it?
Look, to come out of it, that's why I'm joking.
Yes.
And that's why I was laughing.
How do we come out of it?
When we were in the university, we were clamoring for Sovereign National Conference. Those who attended it were harassed, they were beaten and all that. Since then, 19 years after, you will expect that nobody will be talking about Sovereign National Conference again in Nigeria. But now, like I tell people, let us stop appealing to them. Let us stop convincing them to allow the people to do what they want. Let us allow them to carry on the way they are doing. Corruption will force them. They'll be the one begging for Sovereign National Conference. Lawlessness, impunity. They will compare them. They will get them to a point that they will be praying, please come and give us a new constitution, you the people. And then, like I said, this issue of Buhari, let me just say something about it. Buhari, look, he has not heated up any politics. Politics has been heated up. Is about to explode. Boiling. So when people get to a corner, they now look for a way out. That is diversionary. The thing is to say let us all focus on, but it's a propaganda thing. It does not get to many of us.
Based on what you say now, Dr.
Yes.
Laifa, in Lagos State, where the doctors went on strike and they were sacked. Their federal counterparts have joined them.
Yes.
Is it a reaction to government inadequacies?
Well, it is very unfortunate that when people are not in power, they try everything possible to discredit those people that are there. The moment they get there, exactly what they are criticizing those people that were there before them, they will be doing exactly the same thing.
No, even worse.
Remember that we used to have NADECO.
Yes.
One of the supporters or sponsors of NADECO then happened to be the former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He had to run out of this country because of Abacha men. They were after him. And we all felt sorry for him. He came back. We voted him in as a governor. I happened to be the president of National Association of Resident Doctors, Lasut branch, between 2003 and 2005. Just for telling the government to do the right thing about the hospital, and of course pay the right wage to the health workers, a living wage. They accused me of being sponsored by PDP.
You know what?
Wait, no. They accused me of being sponsored by PDP, that they gave me a house, that PDP gave me money, that PDP gave me a car. They sent SS after me. I was investigated. They found nothing of such.
But all of those things,
instead of addressing the issue
at that time, that we're talking about the working environment. If you go around, some of the hospitals, of course not all, you'll see improvement. Now we are talking about the issue of commerce. Government at the federal level implemented this, and it's supposed to trickle down to the states. They have agreed. The government is saying, okay, we have paid this much, and
that is not true. That is not. I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
One moment, please hold that thought. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, my comment to this forum this morning is that people are just saying Buhari said this, Buhari that. The issue is that politics has already been heated up. Because when you look at it, if the crisis continues the way it's like it is by 2015, and the systematic rigging of the PDP continues, either Buhari said it or that is the fact. Look at what happened. You know, the same other the one governor of a ruling state has to go out there with a systematic way of trying to do some kind of systematic fraud into the Edo State voter register. The government was somehow led protest. Someone in the system has been continuing. I don't want to say this or not. That is the fact. If the ED continue or the systematic review continue, the same that happening I don't see any big deal that everybody says this or that. That is the truth. But the truth is always that. So that is their own contribution this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Ismail.
Yeah, as I was saying, most Nigerians I thought are actually criminally challenged. The reason being that they think only of their own interest. In Lagos State happened to be the best employer of judges. Some years back, they changed everything. They gave them new cars, they gave them nice things, very good packages. The governor then told us that the next batch of workers that will be taken care of will be doctors. And we clapped for him. We applauded them. But that did not happen. The moment we started asking questions, we became the government enemy. What I want to say is this. The government should stop seeing doctors in its employment as opposition. You will realize that we don't have an NS in Lagos State. We don't have any UT in Lagos State. All of them have been bought or pocketed. But the doctors' leadership have refused to set their conscience. In 2006, the Lagos State government sponsored a candidate to become the chairman of NME in Lagos State. I conducted that election under the supervision of Dr. Daniel. Well attended, well conducted, free and fair election. This man became the chairman. All of us were happy. The doctors decided at the point that he was not serving their interest. They removed him. And the government there and then declared war on doctors working for Lagos State government.
On the situation right now,
yes.
What do you have to say about it?
What I have to say is this. They shouldn't play politics with this. Lagos State authorities should not have any fear that PDP is coming to take Lagos State. Because PDP does not even have the structure in place. They are not willing to even spend the money. It's even as if other parties have ceded Lagos State to ACN. But because doctors dare to say, come, this is our minimum pay. Pay us according to the law. The Lagos State government started saying that they were being sponsored by politicians or political parties in the opposition. It is not true. Address the issue placed before you. You signed an agreement 30 months ago, before the election, that you are going to pay in full, 100%. 30 months later, you are yet to implement that.
The government said they paid.
It is not true. The highest paid doctor in Lagos State earns about 500,000 naira. It's supposed to be earning about 800,000 naira. So they are very good in propaganda. They are very good at misinforming the populace. And you see, an average Lagosian does not really worry because most of them don't run the government.
The doctors should go on strike because right now
doctors never wanted to go on strike. They never wanted to go on strike. Let me tell you, I have led doctors before. The last thing that any doctor will want to do is to go on strike. Remember, it's a calling, and we do it with passion.
No, but this strike.
Will you please listen to me? Will you please listen to me? It's necessary. For a doctor to go on strike, they must have had their back to the world. This last one, when they had their meeting, they did not want to go on strike. That was why they decided to go on what? Warning strike. Because strike was not popular among them. But what happened after they resumed from their warning strike? The government descended on them and started hounding them. I experienced the same thing in the year 2009. 2008, December, the emeritus governor of Lagos State called me, pleading with me that I should tell the doctors to go back to work. I said, I wasn't the one that called the strike. It was the doctors. Allow me to go back to them. He was in Ghana attending the inauguration of the president in Ghana. He called me again, pleading with me, telling me that will it be difficult for him to get anything from me. I went cap in hand, begging the doctors to go back to work. They went back to work. They were victimized. Some of them were posted, they got punitive posting. I too was sacked. I was dismissed from service. Summary dismissal. I went to court, and thank God, justice has been done.
Okay, Mr. Okaro, something about welfare. The head of the National Assembly. This is Lagos State. Mr. Doja talked about the welfare of the people, the job of government. Let's put it all together. Where are we at? What are we doing? Because there are those who believe that whatever happens in Lagos is a picture of what's happening across the country.
You see, like he said, if the government is really sincere, I don't see why it is difficult to negotiate with the doctors. If we have a system whereby people want to negotiate with terrorists, then you have doctors you cannot negotiate.
Please hold your thought. A phone call. Hello?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Ladeji, morning.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Good morning. Hello.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is Ladeji from Jos.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Well, thank you. Good morning. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. The state of the nation, the problem we are having. People should just leave of Buhari alone. It's not a question of Buhari or no Buhari. I have 3 graduates. 3 graduates in my house. I am a pensioner that for working for 21 years, I was giving only 2 million. I thought I would build a house. I can't build a house. I'm giving 60,000 naira a month. It's from there that my 3 graduates are sharing. And they say it's for 18 years. If I don't die at the age of 78, what happens to me? So, in fact, let us tell the truth. Nigerians' life is in their hands. Come 2015, if any Nigeria votes stupidly, then we will continue this situation. There are people who don't have money during campaign to swing up and they can carry us forward. Let us be wise in voting. And now look at all these probes. Look at the nonsense, the corruption that they have affected. The government is keeping mute. I haven't seen anybody that is arraigned or done anything about. The government is keeping mute about it, and you say somebody is sitting up the politics. Are we all stupid? Some of the people, and I have to beg you people, when you are bringing people into this panel, bring the ordinary Nigerian and make your television station to be viewed by ordinary. If you are not DSTV something, you cannot hear you, we can't participate, we can't contribute. Let it go to the ordinary Nigeria so that you can hear what we are saying and you can hear the type of suffering we are suffering in this Nigeria. Constitution or no constitution, if you have good governance, everybody goes about his business.
Exactly.
Who wants to do Boko Haram? I'm running well. I have my wife and my children. I'm very happy. Who will call you to come and do crime?
All right, thank you, Ladeji.
I do man is the work of the workshop of the devil.
Yeah. Thank you, Ladeji. Thank you. Thank you.
Like she rightly said, the problem we are facing today does not have to do with constitution or ethnicity or religion. It's just corruption, and corruption on the part of leadership. Some of us met this problem of Boko Haram even far back the Obasanjo's government. It's not new. There have been issues of militants in Niger Delta. It's not new. The problem with Nigeria is leadership is not about brainstorming to solve problem. When America had issue of Al-Qaeda, they went back to their scoreboard. They made their plan. That is evident from when the day Osama bin Laden was being attacked. You can imagine the team of people watching it live, meaning that everybody was concerned, everybody planned for it. Do we have the kind of leadership that will want to address issue? Today we are talking about not. If Jonathan is not there tomorrow, the militant in that Niger Delta will start talking about them. Yes. This peace we are having today is just a kind of recess that is provided by God for us to address issues, fundamental issues. We are talking about empowerment of people in a region. You cannot see indices of empowerment. You just single out few individuals, give them money, lodge them in a hotel, you feel you are empowering them. If you are outside that place, which government will carry on that program? Then the majority of the youths in that environment that are not touched by your scheme, what do they expect them to be
So
in
what can we
future?
do now?
Yeah.
What can be done now?
So what can be done first is for a government or a leadership that has the people at heart. What we are saying today now, we are talking about doctors who ordinarily went on strike in a state that is being governed by a legal luminary who is supposed to address this issue by negotiation and discussion. He was swift to sacking 1,000 or sacking doctors and decided to employ people. I don't know. How can you solve the problem at hand by sacking and employing people? The people you employed, are they not still going to have that same problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but the government
They actually have
to
conditional
make the-
employment.
just to
Okay.
make
They are
the
temporary
system
doctors.
work.
They are locum doctors.
Okay.
This is a letter of appointment.
Just before we go ahead, the phone lines are open so that we cannot take everybody into the studio, so that you out there, as Ladeji said, the common Nigerians can also be part of the conversation
have
going on
DSTV.
here. So if we had we can't, as you see here, we can't have everybody here. We would want to bring everybody in here, but you can be a part of the conversation. Your phone calls or your tweets, just send them in so that we can know your mind and ensure that things are looked at from your angle.
So like I'm saying, it's all about leadership. What we are having today is not a leadership that has the good of the country at heart, and Nigerians should be aware of it. And the issue of 2015, we are not even through with 2013, and we are talking about 2015. But the indices are there. A government who will not want to rig election will want to do things before the election. So when a government is not performing, it is obvious that that government is planning to rig.
No.
Okay, I want us to take a look at things now. We're looking at the way forward.
Okay.
So
Way forward.
The way
Way
forward.
forward.
Hold on, no,
Way
now
forward.
let's begin from.
Okay.
So I hope you don't mind. Old school. You were in the National Assembly,
Yes.
so let's start from there. We'll begin from you. The way forward, then to the legal side, to the National Assembly, and then to the social side. So let's begin from you. The way forward.
The way forward is simple. I think whenever there is a government in place, we should try as much as possible to make the government work. Today we have President Jonathan as the president of this country. We owe it a duty to make the presidency to work. If there is robbery at Igara, you call President Jonathan to come and resolve it. If there is any misdemeanor or by other the NNPC, whatever we call it, that's not correct. President Jonathan is not the one to charge people to court. President Jonathan is not the one to take people before the tribunals. He is a president to oversee the affairs of this country, and we must do our little bit. We are not doing our little bit, particularly at the state level. Things get bad at the state level, and don't forget, this country, Nigeria, is in pyramid, and at the base is the local government. Next is the state before you have the federal government at the center. So this pyramid that is sitting on the local government is sitting on the sandy soil because there is no foundation.
Mr. Doja,
yes.
Just like you, there are those who have been in leadership before.
Yes.
They've retired, they're back home.
Yes.
What are they doing to help move things over? Hold on, before you answer that, we have a phone call. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
I'm calling. Yes, Emmanuel, I'm hearing you. Please, what I want to say is this. I want to make comment on Buhari's issue first. One, I want to say I'm disappointed with the panel today. Because for them to see no threat, nothing wrong with what General Buhari has said, is something like the people deserve the kind of leaders they have. Buhari made statements sometime before the general election, and then he said would be bloodshed. And soon after that, after the election, we saw bloodshed, and has never made any apologies to that. Now he's talking about corruption. Who is corrupt in Nigeria? This is Buhari who dismantled democratically elected government as Shehu Shagari's government. Then he has no apology for that. Buhari, who sat under his shield, the worst president we have ever had in this country, Muhammad Buhari, Abacha. He came out. If it is these days that we are having proof, Buhari, if the CTF was proved, in fact, Buhari should not be talking to this country by now. It's because he was working then. There was no proof, so he's gone ahead with that. And he's telling Nigerians that he's a saint. If Buhari says he is not corrupt, then how manage a very clean Nigerian with his level is able to finance a presidential campaign in this country? Then let's not talk about that anyway for now.
All right, thank you very much, Emmanuel.
About the corruption in Nigeria.
Emmanuel, thank you. Please, if you're calling in, make your point straight and short so that other people, there are other calls coming in as well. Thank you, Emmanuel. We heard all your statements. Mr. Doja, those who have been in leadership and have moved back, how are they helping to move the nation forward, or are they just sitting back, enjoying, according to what Mr. Okara said, enjoying the monies they, in quotes, borrowed?
No, I like I said, you see, in Nigeria we tend to build individuals rather than build institutions, and I think there should be a paradigm shift. We should build the institutions. If we build the National Assembly, and becomes the envy of governors today, if we build the state legislature, and it becomes the envy of those past leaders, if we build the local government and attract the best hands, then this country will be better. Because as we speak, some of those structures, this pyramid, has all been mutilated. And to that extent, this country is having the difficulty, this country is moving in pains because the violators of the Constitution, particularly those who breach the general provision in Section 1, that no part of this country should be governed except in accordance with the provision of this Constitution. And in Section 188, there are anybody who violates this Constitution is described as gross misconduct. And if we know and we took oath that we shall obey this Constitution, there is no reason why anybody who disobeys this Constitution should be spared. And moving forward, all past leaders must be active, because Section 14(2)(c) of the Constitution says that we must, as a people, participate in the government of this country at all levels.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ojo.
And Mr. Ojo, as he said, we should make the government work and build institutions.
Yes. How do we make government
That's why
work?
you're going to tell them from the legal side.
Yes,
each one of you in your own different fields.
Yes.
How do we move forward?
Yes, including the judiciary.
The presidency can only contain one person at a time.
Exactly.
So, my brother, if you know you have no capacity, don't venture, please. We need government that is ready to take responsibility. President is the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. Is responsible for my security in your office now as I'm sitting
Mr.
here.
Ojo,
I'm coming.
So in your closing, please focus on your jurisdiction.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
People must be ready to take responsibility and to perform their responsibility to everybody. You won't say because you are in Abuja, I am in Isheri, in Lagos, therefore you cannot see me. You must see me. And there are means of seeing me. Make sure you put them in place. But beyond all these rot that we are just talking about, I think fundamentally something is wrong with Nigeria.
Now, what is it?
And we have been identifying it. Somebody prophesied, like Buhari prophesied, People should know that there are prophets, political prophets. So if they prophesy and the prophecy is coming to pass, sorry, too bad. Another prophecy has just gone out. You can also avert it by not rigging. Simple. Now, what I want to say is people prophesy that Nigeria may crumble in 2015. So people lampoon them. They are stupid. They should shut up. You think they just woke up and just opened their mouth? They saw the indicators.
So what I'm
proposing now is this. It may be bitter, but I've given it serious thought, serious consideration. That Nigeria is too big to be managed by an individual. Nigeria is too big to be managed by a centralized system of government that we are doing presently. Nigeria is too big to be managed in accordance with that 1999 constitution. And for as long as you continue to accelerate in the wrong direction, you continue to be wrong. It's better you make a U-turn and then look at the structures and reconstruct the country.
Okay, thank you.
Two things. On the issue of the doctors, it doesn't used to be like this. Doctors have no reason to go on strike if the employers are doing the right thing. Prior to 1974, a house officer has the same salary as a permanent secretary. A chief consultant has the same salary as a chief judge. Udoji Award collapsed the medical profession into the general civil service structure. And that was when the doctors became unionized. For every salary review, we had to fight from behind. If only, centrally, we can decide to extract the doctors from the general civil service structure, it will stabilize the health system. And that will be the best solution.
Why?
Does it mean that for you to go to medical school, you need to be a certain level of academic achievement? You have to be a science student. You have cut-off mark at JAMB level. When you get to medical school, they don't treat you the way they treat other people because they know that most of the time you need to be with your books and with the patient and the teaching aids they are using for you. Before you come out, you are already assured that this is the kind of life that you will live. Most of the time, you will not be sleeping in your house because you have to be on call. It's a career thing. It's a structure thing. The moment you take doctors out of that structure, it's like taking fish out of water. And let me tell you this. If you pay peanuts, you will only have monkeys in employment. But secondly, on the issue of the nation, remember that it's not always been like this before. We used to be better than this. There was time in this country when industry were producing. There was a time in this country when healthcare was working, education was working.
Employment.
There was employment for people. You come out of university, you have a house, you have a car, you can borrow. You go to any bank now, they be asking for an arm and a leg before they can give you money to go into any business. If you are not a trader, you will not even get any money. If you are not a politician, you will not get any money from the bank. The banks are not helping the economy to develop. The government is not strengthening its institutions. NEPA is not performing. Most of our institutions are not performing. Everything is down. Why can't we commence a process of rejuvenation? All these nations that we have, they are capable of absorbing millions of our jobless youth. And by the time they are gainfully employed, you have taken care of youthful restlessness in the Delta, in the North.
Dr. Life, we have to go. Your end, from your own jurisdiction, National Assembly, what should you do in moving forward?
We are doing our best. We have a working document stating that we are going to work for Nigerians. And that's what we have been doing.
So Nigerians should hold you responsible.
They should hold us accountable.
Okay.
They sent us there.
All right, Mr. Carroll, in closing.
Yeah, from my view is, I'm not in line with Doja's views that the president is not responsible for the citizen.
No, for
the local government, for the state government.
No, for the misdemeanor that is going on now. For the corruption.
He is responsible for everything.
Yes, because
he's number one man.
He
takes responsibility for everything.
Mr. Life, we are closing, please.
The president is in position. He's aware of the allocation he's given to the various arms of government. He's in position to address it. It's in position to call them to order. It's in position to advise them. If there is crisis anywhere in this country, it's the responsibility of the president. And the president need to ensure that the resources is getting to the citizen. And if he's not able to address it, it's his responsibility. Then coming to the issue of doctors, we should agree that every Nigerian have a responsibility to live, and we're all living in a very harsh system. Everybody should have what it takes to live in a country. We should create that balance, and once there is that balance, we won't have this issue of restiveness, we won't have this issue of strike, we won't have issue of corruption.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. We've been looking at the state of the nation with all the different issues around it, and we had Mr. Solomon Edoja, former member of the House of Representatives and a security and management consultant. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Also here has been Mr. Olashukbo Ojo, a legal practitioner and constitutional lawyer. Welcome. Thank you. Mr. Ibrahim Okara, a social commentator. Thank you for coming. And Dr. Ibrahim Olaifa, member, Federal House of Representatives and former first vice chairman, Lagos Nigerian Medical Association. Thank you for coming, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sunrise will continue in a moment. Please don't go away.